Hello to the Foundational Infrastructure Working Group meeting, 24th of July. Let's start with our agenda to review the PRs, check any other business then promotions and cost optimizations. Okay, regarding PRs, on our dashboard, what is in status pending merge? Okay, this one is about cost optimization. I think we can discuss later.
Yeah, this one is about adding an or condition. If you actually, it's a very small change. So I guess the second file is only test. The first one is about adding the check if we have IPv6 address. So far, we have been doing only this check for static IPs. I don't know if there was a reason not to include the DHCP ones, but if we do add this or condition, then we don't need to add in our manifest. And I think I put the link in my comment. Then under the Bosch env, there is this IPv6, exactly this IPv6 boolean, which then forces, scroll a bit to the bottom, which then forces our use of IPv6. So even there, it mentions that if you set this up, if you scroll a bit more to the bottom, exactly here. So even here, it mentions that if this configuration, that is not necessary if we have an IPv6 address, but actually, this is not entirely true because it's only checking the static IPs. So with this change, it will also check the DHCP one.
Yeah, this change seems reasonable. I noticed Felix, I guess, made the comment about using standard like example IPs, which seems like a good change. I don't know if that was made yet. But
yeah, that was Alexander. So yeah, I think he Felix just copied the tests like they are and enhanced them. So I mean the test data, and yeah, and Alexander was saying, okay, there's also
like an example, right? An example range in IPv6. That seems like a good. Seems good to do like probably a 1-line change, 2-line change.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is something which I been looking this week to clean up the disks we have in our GCP account where our automation is running. So this is a small script which uses the G-code CLI just to list all the disks which are not attached to any virtual machine and delete those. If you yeah, if you execute with delete, if you just execute the script, it will list the disks only, which will be deleted. I decided to create the scripts which for the resources we are cleaning, and at some point we can automate this. At the moment, I just execute manually the script.
Yeah, that looks reasonable. There may be some. Yeah, we may want to also start with using Bosch cleanup regularly in some scripts. That might also kind of improve this, because Bosch should delete any Bosch known disks, but maybe these are not Bosch managed disks, so it's probably good to have this anyway.
I thought Bosch is deleting the disks.
Bosch does a soft delete unless you do a force cleanup. And then those disks get removed after about 30 days. But there could be other processes like Packer running or something that might be leaving disks around.
I mean, if I execute a test and delete the deployment at the end, the disks, I thought they are orphaned and then deleted at some point when the orphan.
They're orphaned initially and then deleted later.
We had a lot of disk which, yeah, they've been quite old.
Yeah. No, this looks good. But definitely would recommend it. I think once we automate it, I would probably put a guard in to only delete stuff from the older than 30 days, for example, which all this seems like it is. So I don't think there's a risk there. But once we do set up the automation, probably good to put like a 30-day window just in case.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, this looks good.
Already, this has been executed, so the disks here listed in the comment has been deleted.
Cool.
Yeah. I need one approval.
Yeah.
Here, the more one. I can also extend it with just deleting disks older than 30 days, as I mentioned. Will be, yeah.
I can go ahead and merge if you want.
Okay, I will add the functionality to delete, and then I can merge.
Go.
Okay. Now, this one I think is still open. Yeah, there is no reaction.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to look. Yeah, I think we just leave it.
Yeah. Yeah. On the secret V2, there change. No, no reaction. Waiting for changes. Still.
Yeah.
We looked into this one. This is ready for review, so we need a review on this. Still waiting for review.
Okay, I'll ping the team about this.
Yeah, it will be great if the review is from your side, because this has been checked and developed on our side.
Yeah.
Do you want to say something, Ahmed, about this?
No, I think we discussed it before, right? I think Aram was also there, or shall
Yeah.
I? Yeah.
It's just in case you want to mention.
Yeah, I mean, we are using it internally with a fork. We keep finding things here and there, like the other one was IPv6 enablement on the kernel level. But yeah, I think so far it's working good.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
I think the CPI, what was the change we wanted to add? I think it was about, yeah, no, not this one. The other one is on draft, but I guess we can talk about it separately. The one thing we noticed that in the way we have now a single NIC, while for example in Asia there are multiple NICs per address, and we're wondering if we can unify this somehow. But I think there is another PR for that. I think it's in draft mode still, also by Felix. Yeah.
Okay, that makes
We
sense.
have, yeah, approval from Wong. I don't know. Not notice the kinetics impacts will be I think it will be nice to have another approval on this. Ramon is at the moment on vacation. I don't think Ramon will look into this. Can try to assign.
Yeah, that would be good.
Let's see, Benjamin. In case you ping people, maybe you can also put this in scope, Aram.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, this is about the current setup we have for our concourse regarding teams. So last meeting we decided to create a new team for the databases. Integrated databases and MySQL Postgres approver group, that area in our working group. And I've been looking into the teams, and they have been configured manually. So I created also the team manually here, the team and the configuration, but decided to add the configuration in our repository in case, I don't know, we need to update the teams. We can just take the configuration from here and change. That seems reasonable.
Just a small doc, how to apply that. So there are docs in our repository regarding different things, and I just added the doc here too.
Yeah, that seems great.
So now we have this new team, and so I also moved the Postgres release pipeline into this
Mm-hmm.
into the team, and also configured the secrets so that the pipeline has access to the secrets in GitHub. So basically, at the moment the main pipeline is paused, and
Mm-hmm.
there is a new pipeline which is a copy of the main one, and also the secrets which we have in the for that pipeline in GitHub I added to the new team area.
Mm-hmm.
That means the approvers here can now work on that pipeline and can own the pipeline.
Yeah, that seems great.
Okay. So I've been supporting Pascal here. Now he got quite far with the pipeline. He hit now another issue because branch protection has been activated, and now
There's nobody else to work on it.
there is a package pump task in the pipeline which use a GitHub token, and that is not allowed anymore, and that's needs a reconfiguration. Let's see. So most probably bot user needs to be used. Yeah. He needs to change that one to use a bot user we have in the working group. Okay, then if I can get an approval, I have already, thanks. I can match this one. Basically, this is the update what happened with that pipeline until now. This is about activating autoclass setting for buckets. So I executed this one also this week. Now all the buckets we have in our GCP account have autoclass activated.
That seems great.
I use this script here. Yeah, just iterates over the buckets and sets the setting. In case we discover any issues, we can also deactivate the setting.
Yeah, that seems very reasonable.
And here with the images, something similar. So we've been discussing which images we should delete. At the end, we decided to go for a pattern like stencil and 8 character long GUID. So indicates temporary images we have in our account, and also they should be older than
1 year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems.
I also executed this one without the 1 year check. So we deleted the images here on listed, but afterwards we discussed if we automate this, will be better to have something like 1 year old in case some automations create temporary resources and rely on them.
Yeah, I think 1 year is plenty. We could be shorter, but I think that's fine until we find out that's costing us too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying now to monitor what the difference is, or is there a difference? Yeah.
Yeah.
The last one here is about heavy stem cell artifacts, which are stored in buckets. So basically, after discussions in our Bosch core dev channel, we said maybe it makes sense to have a life cycle operation configured for the buckets here, listed here. For the released ones, it is 3 years as defined in an RFC, and for the buckets where we store candidates, it's 1 year again.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like a good initial start. I think it would probably be safe to bring the candidate number down, but I think if we can wait and see how the cost looks in a month or two, and if it's still
Yeah.
a significant issue, then we can dial that number down. I think realistically for candidate stuff, maybe 60 days or 90 days even is probably fine, but let's start with this.
Yeah.
And see if there's more cost we want to keep an eye on.
This is also already configured. I executed this script. Yeah, it's at the moment in the repository manually executable, but if I get approval here, oh yeah, thanks. Okay, this is all about PRs and the issues side. What is this? Set by P. I think we can ask whether this is reproducible. Connection is set by P has. So this is most of the time temporary error.
Yeah.
Let's ask.
Beyhan, I'm just noticing the script to clean up unused disks. Should I go ahead and merge that? The one we discussed at the very beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Anything else? I think we discussed this one last time. This is about adding some additional so the mentioned tooling to the stem cell. And we asked whether this is not possible by Bosch add-on, and the answer is that creating Bosch reduces is a struggle. I can check. I think we removed the dependencies here, the two libraries here, because they are not coming from the Ubuntu main repository.
Yeah, I
And
think I would like to keep that way. I think it's possible to create a Bosch release that tracks those packages that are not compiled, like just using compiled apps from upstream. I'd add a note in there.
I can put some context later why we removed the libraries, and maybe mention that the Boschers can use already compiled versions. We don't need 716. What was this? Okay, this was about Go-Siga cross compilation not working on Mac. I looked into this, and this is because Mac is not using poor Go implementation for CPU metrics for macOS, and that's why cross compilation fails, because that library is not available. But not on for Linux. There we use only Go we have only Go dependencies to implement the logic. I think this is open for contribution if the person has an idea how to make this macOS independent.
Yeah, that seems like a good plan. I would definitely.
Otherwise, at the moment. Okay, all other issues are older than the last meeting. There were no updates, so we can shortly check the promotions. We have the inactive users. So in the community repository, we have an automation which reports users, inactive users, and yeah, we have here the list for our working group. Ruben already approved. So we also waited 2 weeks. Usually we are waiting 2 weeks to match this.
Sounds good.
Can also match this one. There was no reaction. Oh, I need comment on this. Okay, then maybe one interesting topic we discussed last time was the storage CLI, which the copy folks wants to reuse. And the result is that we have now an RFC for that one. So Stefan created an RFC which defines how to reuse. I also saw, Aram, that you open a PR to create the repository for this consolidated CLI. I commented on that about that we have some already the RFC defines some parts which we have to agree on then decide on the naming. But yeah, this is the result, so to say, from the discussions. The RFC is the result of the discussions we had last time.
Okay.
If you didn't have time to look, basically there is we decided to create a new area in our foundational infrastructure working group called Storage CLI. And that one should have the approvers from the CAPI area in ARI, Application Runtime Interfaces Working Group, and from our BOSH area. And the new repository, we set storage CLI, but we can discuss this. And the CAPI folks wanted to start with the Azure Storage CLI, so to say, to take the first Azure Storage CLI into this common place and try to implement what they are missing for the copy board store operations or storage operations.
Okay. Maybe I can speak with some of the CAPI folks. I think I would rather see the repositories consolidated and the pipelines unified and see, I'm not concerned about the naming, and the access seems right. I missed this part of that RFC. I would like to see, rather than one at a time changes to the different storage CLIs, I would like to see all of the testing and build infrastructure and the Git infrastructure combined into a single repo with no changes yet. And then once we have all of the CLIs in one place and a consistent build pipeline for those, which still works with BOSH, then I think it makes sense to have them start adding changes to that via PR. But I'm a little worried about the drift that might happen between Azure CLI that exists, that's being consumed by BOSH and the BOSH agent, and this other copy that's existing in another place, with work happening potentially in both places.
Yeah, I think the best place is to comment in the RFC here. So they,
okay.
It's not so well defined. They say copy one existing BOSH storage CLI into this new repository, a starting point. Then set up the automation, and afterwards implement the missing commands. So they want to implement 2-3 missing API calls. Continue with the remaining BOSH storage CLIs. But this can be more detailed, defined here. You can add your view.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add some notes into this. I didn't realize they actually had a plan other than just that they should be combined. So I'll make a comment here, and I can go ahead and close that other PR.
That one can be always, so when we accept this RFC, we need to create the area and the repository. I think if you adjust that RFC PR to create a new area and add approvals, or I can do that later when we have a group.
Okay.
However you want.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to reuse that because it's fine. But yeah, I think otherwise the shared behavior seems reasonable, but I'm worried about a long-lived branch where there's work happening. I'd rather get the automation fixed and make sure that Bosch is consuming a single the Bosch consumption of those storage CLIs is happening from the same location, rather than leaving the existing ones as is and then starting a whole new process and then having Bosch then making it so that Bosch needs to integrate these late after all the changes have happened.
Yeah, fair point. Okay. Just paste the link to the chat. Okay, and then regarding cost reduction, so basically, yeah, we discussed most of the activities which happened. The only one which is still open is this co-location of the GCP compute instance with the SQL instance. Yeah. So this will require that we recreate the network setup, the subnet we have in that Europe. At the moment, the subnet is in the Europe West 2 region, and we all need to recreate and then redeploy post conquest deployment to recreate the VMs in the right region. I don't know how to approach this. You said on your side at the moment is also not much capacity to look into this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the change should not be too hard. My suspicion is that there will be some amount of downtime. I think that in the past, in the past, we've had to migrate concourses and maintain some history. And I think what we did is to just run a database backup of the SQL instance and then do I don't know if we did a Bosch backup and restore or just a manual Postgres dump and then put that Postgres data into the new database and then started up concourse. It was a bit of a manual juggle, but it's pretty known. It's just somewhat tedious. So I think I guess there's an open question as to whether we would want to maybe use a Bosch deployed concourse, Bosch deployed Postgres rather than using the GCP provided one. I'm not sure if you all have a strong opinion either way. I think the reason we're using a GCP provided instance is because this was originally running on Kubernetes. But maybe there are other reasons to avoid using a Bosch deployed Postgres.
Yeah, doesn't look like the SQL instance generate quite a lot of costs. I think we can, as a first step, we can stay with the SQL instance to reduce the efforts we put into this.
Yeah, I don't know that the effort is going to be so different, because unless GCP provides a way to migrate data between regions, we're still going to be doing a dump and then an install.
So the ARI working group, they migrated and they just did the dump and then imported that one. Most
Yeah.
of the days, no way, they looked into that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I guess probably what makes sense is to stop concourse, do the dump, merge this PR, and then redeploy concourse, or import the data into the new database, update the credentials, and then redeploy concourse.
This one will not won't do anything to the SQL database.
Right, but we'll have to create a new database and populate new values, I think, right?
If we decide to remove the SQL, to move from SQL to Bosch-based one, yeah.
Mm. But if we do it with Terraform, will that move the data, or do we have to do a manual reimport?
At the moment, the SQL instance is located in this region, in the Europe West 4, and our workers, they are located in West 2. They are in different regions, and this generates some, to my understanding, costs because the database, and so there are some costs for inter-region network communication in our bill. And my understanding is that that is generated by the fact that the workers, the concourse workers, and the SQL instance are in different regions. And one option is just to recreate the workers to have them in the same region as the SQL instance, which is this PR. And the other option is to move everything in a complete different region, which is a little bit cheaper, even cheaper compared to Europe West 4 and Europe 2.
Okay.
But this PR is only to move the concourse workers to the region where the SQL instances.
Okay.
Which is less effort if we say, okay, we don't have time for anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think we will have time, and it does make sense to do, but I think it's probably a week or 3 before we would get to it. So if we want to do this in the meantime, that seems fine.
It's not urgent. I didn't want to execute by myself because you are using the pipelines and someone from the side trying to mess up with the pipeline.
Yeah. I think maybe just, I mean, if you feel comfortable doing it, I'm not worried about you doing it solo, but maybe we just make an announcement, decide we're going to do it. You know, you maybe start on a Monday morning, or we start on a Friday afternoon, and then you pick it up on Monday morning before, like, to see if it fixed itself over the weekend or not, and then we just kind of go from there. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a very low impact change, but if we want to do this, the SQL move, then that's a little bit of a bigger change, but it's not, like I said,
Yeah.
it's not unknown work, it's just somewhat tedious.
Yeah, I think the so we moved the stem cell validation to a different region, and the subnets for the stem cell validation has been recreated manually. I think this script maybe will do some harm on that because this is so this is the Terraform script which actually will try to again create the resources in the right region, in the configured region. This is something I didn't check. But it's not urgent. I think we can come back to this when we have more time to from your side and from our side.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, is there anything else you want to discuss?
Nothing for me.
Neither.
Okay, then we can finish 5 minutes earlier. Time for another coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
Take care and see you next time. Bye bye.
See you next time.
See
Bye.
you. Bye bye.